Hey, Shalom, this is the brother Abaya back here once again. Before I get started, like always, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakahakwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. I want to touch on the topic of overindulgence, man. Never being able to have enough, being insatiable. And this is something that I've been meditating on a lot, more frequently, more often, because I realize, when you start to get certain things, whether that be a little bit more money or the women that you desire or whatever, anything in this flesh that brings you a sense of pleasure or comfort or, temporary satisfaction, based off of your lust, because a lot of this shit we don't need. It's just, fleshly lust and fleshly desires. You got to know when enough is enough. You got to know when to stop. You got to know when to have control, because just because you can, most importantly, just because you can get something or have something doesn't mean you should go ahead and get it. Just because you have access and the means to get something doesn't mean you should go ahead and pursue it and have it. Really, you should just practice self-control and restraint. Just off of the basis of you wanting to do it, wanting to have self-control and restraint. We're servants of the Lord, and the scriptures teach us about having self-control and restraint over ourselves, over our members. So, constantly just overindulging in things that you desire is really will destroy you in the end. We just came off of the Day of Atonement, and, part of the reason we keep the Day of Atonement is to teach us about self-control, self-restraint, and denying ourselves, afflicting ourselves in front of the Lord. Like, of course you're hungry, of course you want to eat, but that's the flesh, those are fleshly desires. But that's a day where you say no food, no water, So it ain't about just not eating. It's about teaching yourself self-control, self-restraint. Even if it causes you to be uncomfortable, to be in a little pain. You got to learn how to do that. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's something easy to accomplish, but you have to learn how to do that, man, because it's very vital to not always feel like, shit, because I want this and I can get it, I'm going to get it, Because I'll give you an example. Of course I'm going to start getting the scriptures, because I don't want to continue to just blabber on. But, pretty women, there's so many beautiful women within the world, man. Like, it's so many beautiful women. Innumerable, right? You're going to always see a beautiful woman that you desire. You're going to always see a beautiful woman that you desire more than the last one that you desired. Or you may just find one that is pleasing to your liking. Well, look, if she's pleasing to your liking, then deal with her, man. And keep it at that, really, man. Because if you start looking at women as just like sex objects, and you only desire them for sex, and you start seeing pretty ones, you're going to want to have sex with that one. You're going to want to have sex with that one. You're going to want to have sex with that one. You're going to want to have sex with that one. And we're not in that time for you to be, running around behind a whole bunch of different women. For one, you don't have the power. You don't have the resources. You don't have the finances. A lot of us don't even have the wisdom to manage these certain things, or the self-control or restraint. And these things will destroy you. Let's get 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter, which I've been holding right here. Verse 11, right? It says, "Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against your soul." Right? So anything that causes your soul, your spirit to go to battle, to go to war, to have to fight, you should abstain from it, man. All right? It's like you got these men who, they may start having sex, right? And, they want to try different shit. They want to try different shit because it gets them off or whatever. And before you know it, now they're in the bedroom letting a woman do all type of shit to them that they shouldn't be letting a woman do to them. You know? Just off of fleshly desires and fleshly lust. That shit can lead you down a path of just straight abominations, man. You gotta practice self-control, because things are accompanied by different spirits and different demons. You may think, oh, I'm just doing this one act and then I'm gonna be done. But no, that shit is accompanied by a demonic spirit, right? You around here letting women play with your butt. What you think that's gonna lead you to want to do? That's accompanied by that's sodomy, man. That's accompanied by a sodomy spirit. And before you know it, now you letting men play with your butt, man. You know, you have to practice self-control, self-restraint. Oh, but I can just do the no. There's a reason why the scriptures emphasize these things for us, right? It's wisdom. That's why the scriptures are wisdom. It's life. It's teaching you how the proper way to live, the proper way to prosper, all right, and succeed while you're in these fleshly vessels, man. That's why the scriptures are here for us. They're guidelines on how to succeed in the flesh. Matter of fact, that's going to be my next lesson I put up, right? I just read that in 1 Peter, right? Let me get what it talks about in Proverbs, the 25th chapter, right? Overindulge. You never want to overindulge. You never want to overindulge, man. And it happens. Like, you know, we like I'm stressing now, with men in the flesh, it's going to happen. But you have to practice self-control. You have to practice self-restraint. You have to remember what the scriptures are teaching us and apply it to your life, man. This is the water. This is the living water. This is breath. This is the breath. This is how you. These are the ordinances set forth for you to live on the planet Earth, right? So this is Proverbs, the 25th chapter. And let's start at verse 16. All right. Proverbs 25, verse 16. It says, "Hast thou found honey?" Right? Have you found something sweet, something you desire, something that brings comfort, something that brings you a sense of pleasure and satisfaction? Whether it be a beautiful woman, whether it be a lot of money, nice little car, nice little house. Have you found honey? Well, it says, "Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited." Right. So honey is very beneficial. I just put honey in my tea this morning. A little half of a tablespoon, right? Now, if I put that whole jar of honey, which, half a tablespoon is beneficial. If I put that whole jar of honey in my tea, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to vomit. Right? You went overboard, man. It's just like that, man. If you with a woman and you she pleases you, make sure you're practicing self-control, self-restraint, and you're not trying to, chase after every beautiful woman that you see. Hey, look, women come with responsibility and money, man. You got money for women. Women have always been a transaction, right? Going back to the ancient times, whether you was paying the father's dowry to receive his daughter. Women have always been transactional. It's not just prostitution. It's always been, you got to have resources and finances to deal with women. The Lord says if you get a wife, be able to take care of her food and raiment, be able to provide shelter for her. So you got to have your finances straight. So if you're always trying to fuck every beautiful woman you see, you're going to be broke. Because now we in the age of tricking. We're in the age of where women don't give a fuck about being in a relationship, man. They just want to buy them shit, pay their bills, buy them, That's just what the time we're in. So you running up behind every little piece of hot ass, you're gonna be down and out. But even if you do have it to splurge, you shouldn't be doing it. because you're not learning no self-control. You're not learning no self-restraint. All right. That's why you got millionaires that are ruining their lives over this shit, over-explosion, overindulging in certain things. Getting these high-priced escorts and calling them over every single weekend and giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars to do some of the most vile shit to them. You know, this is what goes on in this world. You know, it will destroy you. You have to practice self-restraint, man. If you got alcohol, right? Let me get that real quick. Let's stay in Proverbs. Bear with me one moment. Proverbs chapter 20, right? Let's see. Proverbs chapter 20. Oh, it's in verse 1. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 1. It says, wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So the scriptures tell you you're not wise if you let wine make you into a mockery. And strong drink turn you into a raging fool. You know, if you like drinking beer, you like drinking alcohol, you have to practice self-restraint. You can't just sit and just drink the shit all goddamn day just because it provides you a sense of comfort, a sense of pleasure. Now you always in a state of mind that's just not, you know, beneficial to your growth as a man of the Lord on the planet Earth, man. And you have a lot of men that suffer from this. You know, they crack open that one beer, and before you know it, they done cracked over a million beers, man. For one, that shit ain't healthy to your body, your temple, your physical temple. And secondly, you know, it makes you sick. I just read about the honey thing. If too much honey is bad for you, then what you think too much alcohol is doing to you? And not just your physical body, your spiritual body, your mind, your spirit. You know, can put you in a state of depression. All right. It can just destroy you, man. So overindulgence, man. We have to practice self-restraint, right? Self-control, and teach ourselves these things and prevent ourselves from doing certain things that, you know, causes us to err in the eyes of the Lord. You know, yeah, man. We have to practice on these things, work on these things. You know, because we are sinners, and a lot of times we'll just cast these things to the behind us. We can't do that. We cannot do that. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until the next time I say shalom.